Greetings and salutations, good friends, and welcome to Blades in Paradise. My name is Dr. Winston Thoreau, and I will be your guide to the perils and pleasures of our paradise amidst the post-apocalyptic Pacific Northwest. Now, we'll get to the chicanery and shenanigans momentarily, but before we do, allow me to deliver some news. Blades in Paradise is an actual play podcast run in John Harper's Blades in the Dark, and we're sponsored by the developer Evil Hat Games. Use code BARDROCK10 at checkout to save on your order. Bard Rock Network is sponsored by Dragon Master Games. Visit dragonmastergames.com for all your CCG, TCG, TTRPG, and miniature game needs. If you enjoyed the stories we tell, you can tip us on Ko-fi or visit us at patreon.com/bardrockcafe. By sponsoring the network, you not only help us provide an ever-expanding library of shows, but gain access to bonus content, the network Discord, quarterly backer games with the network community, and an annual swag bag. Now, without further ado, let's join Lizzie, Stirling, and Max, as well as myself, the crew of ESPN. Enjoy! Blades in Paradise is a dystopian story intended for adults. These narratives intentionally explore challenging and often difficult to listen to topics. This campaign includes content warnings for gun violence, substance abuse, animal cruelty, child endangerment, and graphic description of physical injuries including the eyes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Blades in Paradise, where our viral marketing strategy is having fans submit our podcast quotes to r/new sentence on Reddit. I'm Paul, and I'm the game master for our first campaign. As always, I am joined by my chaotic players. Players, introduce yourselves.
Got a pedigree and a medical degree. It's Dr. Winston Thoreau. Fun fact about the doctor today, when he spent some time at the orphanage, he actually, while he did not learn any math facts or any spelling or how to drive a car, he did take some classes in project management. So he does have a project management certificate specifically from the Orphanage School of Orphans. My name is Jim, by the way, and I am actually playing our good doctor friend.
Welcome. My name is Dr. Thoreau. I'm sorry. Sometimes I mistake us. We look so much alike. Maximilian Graves, played by Justin. I am the very old and very enfeebled and very charming Max Graves. What I do is I do whatever I want, whenever I want, and you don't know if I'm doing it on purpose. So I have an interesting fact about me. Once upon a time, I created an orphanage. I made several orphans, all in one city. It wasn't as hard as some people might think.
Making the orphans or starting the orphanage?
Yes.
See, what the party's leaving out is the fact he constructed the orphans.
Out of rats.
I'm Queenie, and I play Lizzie Calhoun, the Hound. She is from a small town of Tightwaters, we've learned, and today we learn her parents' names, William and Catherine.
That's gonna be awkward because I have a character named William.
Yes, I do call them Ma and Pa, though.
Yeah, no, they were born Ma and Pa. Their destinies were predetermined. So I have an NPC coming up this session named William, so that's ironic.
Don't you think? A little too ironic.
I see what you did there.
I really do think.
And last but not least,
I'm Stirling, scoundrel and storyteller, played by Riley. So I was 15, in a landfill, one starless Halloween night. Not enough steam until I saw movement off in the fading light. A great clawed beast, with claws and a whipped tail, at the edge of town, it skulked off into the wasteland, with no one else around. While Chupacabra stalks the wilderness, hiding night and day, because I scared that motherfucker away.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yay!
We're all raising the bar. We're all going to be submitting slam poetry by the end of this podcast.
I painted myself into a weird corner, and you all joined me, and I'm so happy about it.
My only exposure to slam poetry is Mike Myers and So I Married an Axe Murderer, so I won't be much help.
Any poetry is slam poetry if you pronounce it correctly.
I don't write poetry.
Harriet. Sweet Harriet.
Last time, our party were having some downtime. Lizzie helped Victor Lord rob Orange Julius of his supply of anabolic steroid juice boxes by shooting out the electric box powering the warehouse alarm. She and the good Dr. Winston Thoreau eventually came to a shocking conclusion. Victor Lord is some kind of homunculus. Dun, dun, dun! Between that and the doctor's plot to undermine the medical system of Paradise for his own profit, the party are certainly going to have their hands full. Let's find out how as we dive back in. Stirling and Max, you are still at the circus bar polishing off your drinks. When Stirling, you hear a familiar voice from behind you. A new round of drinks for the cyborg and the himbo on me. A live young woman with blonde side-swept cropped hair, wearing an elaborate multicolored dress, takes the seat beside you. Any friend of Stirling's is a friend of mine. Amazing Grace, at your service. The Amazing Grace, she says, extending her hand to Max, fingers pointed downward, expecting the look on her face.
Oh, well, charmed, my dear, although I haven't been called a himbo in rather a long time. Stirling, be a good sport and buy this lady a drink for me. I apologize. I must be removing myself from this in a expedient matter. I will stay for the first sip, but after that I must away.
This is no friend of ours, Max.
Oh, are you still mad about the last 3 times I double-crossed you? You know what they say, the 4th time is a charm, dear.
Well, I mean, 4th time. That was so long ago.
Stirling, is your friend right in the head? Well, that explains why he's hanging out with you then, doesn't it?
I throw my drink at her feet.
I'm just joking with you, dear. Another drink for Stirling on me. No hard feelings. Anyway, I did have some questions for you boys if you spare some time.
A moment or two. I don't see why this fine, upstanding, liquor-footed... Sorry, I should stop before I go too far into my description of you. What necessitates? What do you want?
You boys work for ESPN, don't you?
Indeed.
My partner here, William Sonoma, and I, we received the contract to research industrial accident with your competitor, Subway. I don't suppose you know anything about the dirigible crash that happened 2 clicks outside of Paradise. Must have seen that one.
What happened?
Subway, their dirigible crashed about 2 clicks outside of town.
Oh dear, are they okay?
Not sure. The authorities are saying they don't expect anyone made it out alive.
You're probably right.
Oh dear.
You'd have to be someone of monumental proportions and strength to be able to walk off a crashing and flaming dirigible like that.
Oh, absolutely. Why do you bring this up to us? Aren't there any eyewitnesses?
I have an authority they were making it delivered to Mr. Julius Orange. And according to the delivery manifests here in Paradise, you are also delivering to Mr. Julius Orange.
We were, and we did, and that was that.
If you don't know anything else, that's fine. Me and my partner William here, we are going to be heading out to the crash site to find the black box. I just wanted to see if you had any information before I made it out there that might make my investigation easier.
I still don't understand why it is you're telling us about this.
I believe it's what we call professional courtesy, darlings. I've been doing a job, and if you had any information about what might happen, because you are competitors, you were delivering to the same client, maybe they mentioned something to you at the pickup, I don't know. I just thought I would look into it. If you don't know anything, that's fine. She finishes her drink. But I do have a lot of stairs to get to depart from my investigation, so thank you all for your time. Always a delight, Stirling.
Oh, thank you.
And she blows a kiss over her shoulder at Stirling as she exits the bar.
I grab a bystander's drink and throw it at her feet again.
That's a slipping hazard, Stirling, not to mention a waste of good alcohol.
It's not a waste, but we should go.
Does either of you have a downtime activity you want to complete here at the bar? I do have one ready for after you leave. Does anyone need to drink to relieve stress? Is basically the short answer.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, cool. All right, so you guys make your way out of the bar into the circus. There's a myriad of games, different people shouting like, oh, try your luck, test your skill. They feel very much like Famous Nathan and the Good Doctor, all the people trying to play these carnival games. Stirling, one person catches your eye. You there, the very muscular gentleman. You can pass the test of strength. This very thin guy just like swings this hammer on a thing and It hits the plunger, and a little weight shoots up and rings a bell. See, if I can do it, certainly someone of your stature can. Are you up for a game of chance? And you win, you can get one of these, and he has a whole shelf full of Beanie Babies.
I don't gamble, but I can pass your test.
Roll study really quick. Controlled, standard.
Are they genuine Beanie Babies?
Yeah, these are genuine Beanie Babies. That is not what we're studying for.
It's a 4.
4, missed success. So you catch him like putting his weight, like a foot on, like you assume there's a switch to hold it down so that his weight will be on the plunger as well, so you would have a harder time. He sees you about to catch him, he pulls his foot away from it before you can accuse him of anything shady, though. But you know this game is rigged just looking at it.
Go for it. Rig it as much as you want. I don't care. I grabbed the hammer.
Roll plus wreck. This is going to be risky standard. You only get one swing.
That's a 6.
Yeah, with a 6, you clobber this thing so hard that his little lever shoots up under his foot and he falls on his butt. And you ring the bell. We have a winner, I guess. And he holds out a little turtle for you. And like, this is Turbo the Turtle. Vintage circa 2017 or so.
I take it skeptically, but I'm smiling.
And go ahead and roll to relieve stress. You roll a d6 and then you subtract your lowest score from it, I think, is how it works.
It's you roll 2d6 and then you take the lower number.
And it is a green turtle with a shell attached with large yellow eyes. Don't think I'm not checking on these things.
Did you also overindulge?
Paul said rolled a d6, so I rolled 1, and I rolled a 1, and then you said to roll 2, so I rolled 2, and I rolled 2 more 1s.
Yeah.
So I feel like something bad has to happen.
The bad thing that happens is you only recover 1 stress.
The tag on the Beanie Baby is actually fairly tattered. It's not in pristine condition.
I shove him and pocket the turtle.
And it's considered a Beanie Boo, Stirling, not a Beanie Baby.
That exact Beanie Boo is sitting upstairs in my daughter's bedroom. She calls him Turtle Boy.
The bad thing, Stirling, is you look over your shoulder and you see Grace watched you do that and watched you like seemed to like really sweat it because you didn't recover that much stress. So like, yeah, you passed the test, but you also clearly exerted yourself, and that's why you didn't recover that much stress. So Grace would have been impressed, but she's like,
It's fine, I don't care.
You do have the opportunity to either use your second downtime activity to recover more stress, or spend coin to attempt this one again with a different carnival game.
Yes, let's go again.
Are you doing the same one? I have other games. You could like knock over the milk cartons or something. Yeah, like you could. Yes, there's the one where you have the baseball and the milk cartons.
Is there like a wrestling game or something?
Oh, sure. There's an arm wrestling game. Yeah, come on. Can you beat? I'm trying to think of a professional wrestler who's not Hulk Hogan.
Arm and Hammer?
Yeah, Arm and Hammer. Arm and Hammer, the Rock'em Sock'em arm wrestling robot. And you see this big bronze thing. It's got a big meaty arm. It's kind of like Max's new arm, actually. And you see like this big burly guy trying to flip it and he can't. And then a little kid comes up like, I got this. And the little kid slams it, no problem. They're clearly letting the little kid win. Same principles before, roll wreck. Yeah, with a 4, you like beat it, but you kind of sweat it a little bit, but you still win. You strained yourself almost as much as the big tough guy. Like, you barely outstrength the machine that's set to make you lose on purpose.
3.
3. Okay, so you did not remove 3 more stress.
Is Grace maybe walking by or something?
Yeah, Grace is still there. She sees you do the arm wrestling thing. It looks like you did her a concern. And William just kind of like puts an arm on her shoulder. Like, you see her like, him like just saying, let's just get going. And they keep going toward the stairs.
Oh, they're walking away?
Do you have anything you wish to do with Stirling's downtime activity? That could be 2 activities. You can spend a coin to do more if you want to. Otherwise, it's just relieve stress.
I kind of want to trip Grace.
Yeah, that's free. You go ahead and roll skirmish. Yeah, roll skirmish to try and trip her.
I get another dice for a skirmish. That's also a 4, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, so you like reach out and trip her, but you had to go so far out of your way to do it. William's like, hey, buddy. He looks like he's gonna sock you, but Grace kind of stands and says, he's not worth it, William. Let's just get going. You know, somebody like him, he just doesn't have any class. That's why he has to look down at the rest of us. from way on high where he does not stand.
I flip her off and walk away.
Awesome. Max, what do you want to do with your downtime activities? You're good on stress and injury, so you get to do fun stuff.
Well, it's not going to be very fun. I'm actually going to make my way to the wealthier portion of the town and find the final resting place of the only woman that I've loved.
So that wouldn't be the wealthier part of town. It's complicated, the burial situation in Paradise. Traditionally, people are taken up to a mausoleum that you're only allowed access to during the depositing. You can visit the mausoleum on the outside, but they don't let you on the inside except for funerals. And that's at the very, very tippity top. So you could go up there at the very top. They also don't like people coming up there except for funerals. You have to be sneaky. Are you going to sneak up there?
I am.
Roll Prowl to sneak up to the Clouds District where the mausoleum is.
All right. I got a 5.
There's a mixed success, so you get up there. You get a couple of dirty looks, but you're wearing your ESPN thing. Like, oh, he's got a delivery. Okay, cool. You get to the elevator. There's even more stairs to this mausoleum. The elevator only goes so far.
That's fine. I make my way up.
The mausoleum door is locked and guarded. Do you have business here, sir?
I do. I'm delivering a part. It's for the furnace.
Oh.
This is the 3rd one in how many months now?
Oh, the furnace. Okay. Yeah, you take delivery out back. My man Larry's got this. Yes, I'm throwing 2 NPCs named Larry at you in 7 days.
Thank you. And I will need a signature from the boss, of course.
Of course. I was not ready for you to introduce the big bosses up in the Clouds District. You threw me a curveball. Give me a second to think of a retailer of some sort.
Well, there's Procter and Gamble.
Yeah, Mr. Proctor is right here. John Proctor.
Yes, I'm supposed to deliver this around the back.
Yep. You go around back, and there's this big office behind the mausoleum. And you see this pale gentleman with black hair that comes kind of like a widow's peak. And he's dressed to the nines. Very fine clothes, top hat with gold trim, gold chain on his pocket watch, a gold monocle, and a gold cane. What can I do you for, boy?
Well, sir, I've come to trade.
What do you have to trade me this fine day?
Pull out the coin that I made.
Oh, you're a gentleman of means.
I am, sir.
I did not expect that from someone in the station of a delivery man. What can I offer you this fine day for that fine sum of money?
30 minutes, alone inside.
Roll sway.
I just want to be with the one I loved. I rolled a 4.
I can give you 30 minutes, but I can't let you be alone in there. Lots of remains in there. One of the guards, he will give you your space and observe you from a silent distance. How's that?
Perfectly adequate.
He's not Larry Proctor. I didn't realize you wanted to talk to the big boss before. So the guard lets you in, and he's like, I'm going to be, just keep an eye on things. Do as you will.
Very well.
And this mausoleum is not like a regular, like a present-day mausoleum. What they have is they just have a series of slots, as you understand it. Actually, go ahead and roll study, because you were up here when your significant other was buried. I'll even give you a bonus dice on it.
I don't need it. I rolled a 6.
You know that there's a series of hydraulic lifts and stuff inside of here. Basically what happens, they insert the casket, and it deposits the person somewhere in the tippity top of the mountain, where they're stored below, so you can't actually access the body.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have a little memorial here where during visiting hours, the wealthy usually can come and visit. And you have a little interactive screen. You can bring up an image of anybody who's buried in the mausoleum.
All right. I bring up the picture of Rebecca Gates.
You place your thumb on here. There's a little white flash of light. You feel a little electric zip through your thumb.
Mm-hmm.
You had to use your real hand for this.
Yes.
A little hologram appears of her. It's a little greener than you expect, though. You expect the hologram to be white. There's just a little green tinge to it.
Right. I turn to the guard and I say, I'm sorry, this is not me trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to steal or really trade, barter, or deliver anything. I just need time.
And he apologizes further, saying that the next 30 minutes are going to be very boring. And he just sits there, looking at the image of Rebecca.
Yeah, so you do that? Is there a particular activity in the downtime activities you're looking to do here?
Well, I did have some stress that I needed to relieve, and this is the way I want to do it.
That's fantastic. Go ahead and roll your 2d6.
3.
3. All right, so mark 3 stress off of your sheet. And that did not go above your... You have some stress left or perfectly 0, one or the other?
I have 1 stress left.
Perfect. So that's 1 downtime activity. You do technically have a second if you'd like to do anything with it.
That's it.
May I make a suggestion?
Sure.
You could donate your downtime activity to let the good doctor roll on his clock for his project.
That's true.
You did discuss this project with him, so I feel like that would be a benefit.
Yes, I will do that then.
Good doctor, would you like to roll some d6 to see how much progress you make on your project clock? We have 2 segments filled right now.
I would absolutely love to do that. I think the good doctor makes his way after he excuses himself from Lizzie and from Victor and heads down over towards the orphanage where he grew up. And he takes a seat on a bench outside and pulls out a notebook and just starts sort of sketching out some ideas for how to really get the hospital up and running, and sort of the things that they talked about last time. How to take advantage of the fact that some people receive free medical care. How to take advantage of the fact that St. Bernard's Day happens every year. You know, really kind of getting a full understanding of what happens. And I'm going to roll a 1 because I went through this big long spiel. So let's find out. No, it's a 5.
Yeah, the 5, I'll give you 2 more segments on this clock.
Perfect.
And I'll also give you something else. You bring your notes and you look at the question of how do I get this medicine, and you're thinking, last time you thought to yourself, oh, Nathan's grandfather Amos, he can give me the recipes. Then you realize you have an easier path to this. A name comes to your mind. French. You remember a woman by the name of Dejanay French. She used to be Heinz's chemistry partner and worked for famous Nathan before she got blacklisted. She still lives here in Paradise.
That Dejanay's, it was a sin against God and humanity.
You know that you could probably at some point track her down here in Paradise, and she'd probably be willing to be your alchemist for making these various potions and tinctures.
Dejanay's French. I will look her up the next time I'm in town.
I believe I also owe you, good doctor, an entanglement.
You do owe me an entanglement because I overindulged on my vice. I am not haunted or reckless or obsessed, I just am now entangled.
And with that entanglement, the orphanage you're in is kind of like near the warehouse district. You see a large number of people running and screaming from the direction you know to be the Julius Orange warehouse. You don't think anything of it until you start hearing, there's displays of radios around, and there's people on TV, and there's news speakers that do emergency bulletins. And you get a notification that there is an emergency happening in the district. We interrupt this broadcast of the ATFL for another special broadcast. The Gates District of Paradise is currently overrun with spirits. A good dozen or so of them have spawned over near the Julius Orange juice bottling facility and are actively terrorizing locals. Authorities have no idea how to deal with this ghastly outbreak and are asking anyone with skill in wrangling spirits to come help out. A handsome reward is being offered for defusing the situation. We now return to your vicious blood sport.
Well, I'm handsome and I love rewards, so I feel like this calls for my specialty kind of services that only I can provide. I pop up and basically roll my sleeves up and sprint over towards where I know the spirits to be, because I know that if there's a little bit of chaos happening in Paradise, then something has gone horribly, horribly wrong.
I will also say, because this is a citywide broadcast, every member of the crew does hear this wherever they are, including Max in the mausoleum. Although Max, if you wanted to go down there, because you guys know enough about the good doctor, he might go over there. Max was going to take a good 10-15 minutes to get down there because that Mount Rainier is 14,000 feet high.
Yeah, help you punch a ghost if you want.
You're breathing the thin air.
Yes, I'm perfectly fine after my 30 minutes is up. A little miffed that the image was taken by the emergency broadcast.
Oh no, it didn't override the projector. No, you just hear loudspeakers.
Doesn't Rebecca just looks up at you and she tells you exactly what the emergency broadcast is?
Exactly.
Oh no, this grave marker just has a jumbotron on it that gets replaced with in loving memory and gives you stock quotes. That's too capitalist dystopia even for me in this game.
It's just the Bloomberg network.
Yeah.
Lizzie's the only person who's in the Gates district she could probably catch up to in relatively short order. Lizzie, would you like to do so before he arrives on the scene?
Yes, I would, because of where it's at. I'd be like, oh man, I might have done that. So I'd run over and to help him.
Lizzie and the doctor. You arrive on the scene of the warehouse, and you see spirits, but nothing like Winston has seen in his entire life. Usually, spirits manifest as they did in their mortal lives in some form. Kind of like a white or a gray, maybe, aura about them. These spirits are a sickly green and look melted. Their faces are unrecognizable, their limbs misshapen. They seem to be grabbing random passers-by and squeezing them tight. As one does so, you see a white light draining from the victim as a portion of their soul is absorbed by the spirit. The police are ushering bystanders away from the scene, attempting to subdue the spirits. Bullets and billy clubs just seem to pass through the spirits, who only seem to be tangible in short bursts and are otherwise impervious to conventional weapons. What do you do?
First, I would like to take a look and try to study the situation and see if I can notice anything about where they're coming from or where they may have originated.
Sure, roll study. I'll say the situation is control standard.
That's a 3.
With a 3, you can't tell where they're coming from, but you realize something. The power is out. All the streetlights, all of the everything. Like once you got to this part of town, the electricity's just out.
Alright, so I hop up on a nearby park bench and I say, Lizzie, you might need to catch me. And I'm going to use compel. I'm going to attune to the ghost field to try to compel the spirits to calm down, essentially. I'm just like a large panacea for the terror that they're causing.
Go ahead and roll attune. I'm going to say this is, especially because of the size of the group and the fact these are unconventional spirits, this is going to be desperate.
That is a 6 and a 2.
All right, 6 and a 2. It's going to be a success. So you see them start to kind of like calm down. There are still a lot of them, so you get the impression this is going to be a relatively limited time period. They stop attacking police and things, but it feels more like you've caused them pause more than permanently silence them in some way, shape, or form.
Now that they've calmed down, I feel like I can approach them and look over at them and say, what are you doing? What can I do to help you? What is the problem?
Go ahead and roll a tune. This is going to be risky standard.
6 and a 2.
Oh, wow, look at you. The 6s and 2s consistently.
Rolling hot.
You get a incoherent guttural groan. And you realize, if this thing's face is melted, its capacity to verbalize thoughts might also be compromised. But you do get this sense of pain and suffering. Almost like a burning sensation. You feel like an empathetic burning sensation.
So these spirits essentially they're injured in some way. They've been caused a great deal of harm and panic and stress.
Yes.
And I think I'm going to try to attune one last time and say, it's okay, if you're hurt, you can rest. We don't need anything more from you. You can rest now.
All right, roll a tune again. This is going to be risky standard.
You'll never guess.
A 6 and a 2.
6 and a 2.
The handful of ghosts immediately next to you, there's like 3 of them. They kind of like turn a slightly less sickly green. And for just a second, you see like the remnants of a face with like half smirk as they kind of like dissipate into the ether.
You said they turned sickly green.
Yeah, they were already sickly green. They turn a less sickly green.
Less sickly green.
Like you restore just a little bit of like hope to them, so to speak.
Do I see anyone in my doctoring days that I would recognize as being a medium or being a spiritual person who may have a spirit bottle or may have some sort of way to kind of capture and trap one of these?
Funny you should say that.
No. No. Don't do it, Paul.
As you make your way through
Don't bring him here.
more than half a dozen of the spirits, you hear a frustrating but familiar tune in the distance. Tonics in bottles and tinctures for healing, potions for your ails, elixirs I'm dealing. No matter your worries, I have what you need. Your satisfaction's always guaranteed. We'll send all those spirits away from this place. You need not be frightened with Nate on the case. I'll bottle them up. I'm sure to succeed. Their eminent defeat is guaranteed. When the ghost frights, when the cops flee, when you're feeling fear, you simply remember to pay me my fee, and your worries will disappear. Famous Nathan, somehow finding a pedestal to stand on.
Can I throw a knife at the voice?
I will point out you are surrounded by police officers who will see you assaulting an innocent bystander.
A famous one at that.
Is he innocent?
He's clearly here to help. Famous Nathan, somehow finding a pedestal to stand on as he sings his little jingle, waves on as 4 men wearing petticoats and top hats, goggles over their eyes, have strapped large contractions of visible gears, valves, and steam pipes to their backs. Let the professionals take it from here, Doctor, Nathan says, as each of them point what appears to be a vacuum cleaner at the spirits. The spirits turn into a sort of green light as they're sucked up into the contraptions, each lighting up one after another with spirit baubles.
Nathan, you tell Luigi to be gentle with them. They're already in pain, okay? And you're welcome for calming them down, by the way.
Oh yes, I suppose you did loosen the pickle jar.
Well, if anyone would know something about pickles, it would be you, wouldn't it, Nathan?
No, that would be Heinz. He deals with the fantastic relish.
We've got 57 other things to worry about. We're bringing up Heinz right now. That's great. Can I have one of the spirit bottles? Please.
Go ahead and roll sway. I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't want to take a die awake. This is your hated rival.
Oh, that's a 2.
Tell you what, I will make you a trade. Give me my grandfather's bottle back. You can have one of these.
It's funny you should mention your grandfather's bottle. I don't have that.
Well, that's unfortunate and upsetting.
Yeah, I would assume that would make you really upset. That's kind of why Anyways, your grandfather is currently with Spencer Grift in the Hot Topic. I needed to give it to them to get through their compound so that way we could make the delivery and take the hospital contract from you, and I know you're not going to give me one of the bottles because I just threw that in your face. God damn it, why do I keep doing this?
At that point, the situation now dissolved. Sergeant Pepper approaches you all. Good work, all of you. Here are sandwiches all around. And he just interrupts your conversation, gives everyone a voucher good for 1 hero sandwich at any participating sandwich shop, paid for by the Paradise City PD. Of course, Sergeant. Nathan just stops paying attention to you completely. It's the least I can do.
If Subway's the delivery shop, what's the name of the sandwich shop?
Mr. Sub.
Oh, great. Now, Nathan, we need to try to figure out why this happened. At the very least, you're going to do that, aren't you?
Of course. I'll actually like to talk with you about negotiating exclusive contract, Sergeant, about taking care of the spirit problems so they don't recur, and I'm going to research them, of course. He turns to the news cameras and say, no need to fear, folks. You have a paranormal pest or a ghostly guest. Just hire the very best. The specialists that Spirited Away by Famous Nathan are here for you. Just dial the number at the bottom of your screen. He literally holds up a large cue card with the phone number on it.
I want to shove him out of the way and hop in front of the news camera.
Go ahead and roll, what's it, skirmish.
Skirmish, alright. That is a 5 and a 2, and I take the lower number on that.
Yeah, no, you go to shove him, and he just, sidesteps you and trips you.
When you got a spirit problem, you know where to go. Call Dr. Winston Thoreau!
That's Spirited Away by Famous Nathan. No case too small, no fee too big.
Enjoy what you're hearing? Rate us on your favorite podcatcher. Reviews on platforms like Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods help new listeners find our content. It's a completely free way to support the show. Thanks for listening.
Where are we now, Llewellyn?
Well, Meanie, it looks like we've arrived in a universe where Jump Leads is part of the Bard Rock network of podcasts.
The Bard Rock Network? Wow! That's a whole new audience ready to experience our adventures jumping through parallel universes, like when we found that colony of religious robots, or the time we were chased by a knife-wielding dinosaur.
What about when you spent a whole episode looking for a bathroom?
We don't have to talk about that.
Listen to the scripted sci-fi comedy podcast audiences are calling hilarious with a lot of heart and wit. Jump Leads, Season 1 available now, wherever you get your podcasts. Season 2 coming soon.
Who was that?
Sounds like this reality is actually an ad spot.
An at spot? Wait, so none of this is canon?
It was, until you asked that question.
And that's when both Max and Stirling arrive on the scene. They've arrived in time to see all the ghost vacuum cleaner stuff, but they actually got close enough to interact as you and Famous Nathan finished fighting over the news camera.
Are there any of the filled jars that I might be able to procure?
They are on the back of the Steampunk Ghostbusters backpacks if you'd like to steal one.
I would like to try, yes.
All right, that feels like a prowl.
All right, I actually have 2 dice in that.
Perfect.
I'm going to take 2 stress to help. Is it 1 stress to help or 2 stress to help?
1 stress to help.
So I'll take a stress to help him by running up to Luigi and trying to tell him that, argue with him about the way that he is treating the spirits, and that listen, you need to be gentle with them. They're already injured and they're hurt, and I'm really being loud and obnoxious, more so than usual.
I appreciate that you named the NPC Luigi before I could.
Picking up what you're putting down.
Yes. I rolled terribly, not so terribly, and a 5.
All right, the 5, you snatch it, but you get clocked by Famous Nathan. Hey there, sticky fingers with the one hand. What do you think you're doing?
Oh, new hand. I'm so sorry. On occasion, it just flips people off or grabs things. Watch.
As I flip him off.
You said flipping them off is your trigger to shoot a knife last time, so you shoot a knife at Famous Nathan. So go ahead and roll finesse. If you roll well, you're going to hit Famous Nathan in front of a bunch of police officers.
I rolled a 4 and a 6.
You cleave Famous Nathan right in the shoulder, and the police officers all have their weapons drawn. Put the arm down?
Officers, I can explain. You see, my good friend, hero of the train robbery here, Maximilian Graves, recently suffered a grievous injury and just received a replacement arm, and he doesn't know how to use it yet. He's not used to that happening. It's something that was not intentional by any stretch of the imagination. Please let him just go and get him out of the situation so the professionals can do their job and take care of the ghosts.
Where am I?
Go ahead and roll sway.
I'll take a stress.
Okay. And this is desperate, but standard.
5-4-4.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So what we're going to do is your friend there is going to, first of all, give Famous Nathan back his bottle. And he's going to apologize to Mr. Famous Nathan, and we're going to call it a good day. Is that okay with you, Mr. Famous Nathan? Nathan nods and kind of clutches at his shoulder.
As I hold the bottle, I walk up to him. And every time I say something like this, the other players are like, uh-oh. And I lean into him very carefully.
Next time it won't be the shoulder, bitch.
And I lean back smiling, looking as bug-eyed as I can.
Let's roll command. Command feels like you intimidating him.
Oh, geez. I only have 1 in that.
Command obedience with your force of personality. I'm going to give him, I'll take a stress to give him a help by smacking Nathan in the shoulder.
You don't need to. Rolled a 6.
Cool. Nathan looks concerned, but he has the spirit bottle. He's like, I'm onto you, old man. Can't do anything about it at the moment.
Help! He said he's going to be on me. I'm just a sweet old man. He's going to do terrible things to me. Oh, help!
Do you see that, people? He is a kind and gentle old man, and Famous Nathan is bullying him. Well, you know what we do about bullies here, don't we?
The news camera is no longer here, first of all.
I punch him in the shoulder.
You punch Famous Nathan in the shoulder?
Yes, the injured one. I want to push him back away from the nice old man.
It's like a gentle.
I will warn you, the police are still here and might not receive well to that. I'm not going to stop you if you want to do it. I'm just letting you know there are consequences if you punch this guy in his injured shoulder in front of the police sergeant.
We have consequences for our actions?
While this was all going on, could I try and go up and steal one of the other canisters?
That's be desperate limited because they definitely have their eyes on you guys now. But sure, go ahead and roll prowl if you want to.
I've been hiding. Nobody knows what I'm doing.
At no point did you roll to hide during this scene.
Okay, that's true.
He said he would lay me down by the sweet firelight.
That's a 6!
All right, with a 6, you do successfully get one of the spirit bottles unseen because of the great promotion everyone else is making.
Do you see that? There are no consequences for our actions.
Is Stirling still punching famous Nathan in the shoulder, or is he going to take the stern looks at the police officers as a warning?
Take a step towards Nathan, and I look at Dr. Winston.
Come on, Stirling, let's go get you a beanie. You've earned it. Bullying a poor old man. Call yourself a doctor.
I want to do like a threatening kind of half step towards Nathan, but then follow the doctor.
Roll command to try and intimidate Nathan further. I'll give you a bonus dice because Max already set you up for this.
2 2s. What is happening?
Oh my gosh.
Oh!
Nathan looks less afraid of you than he does of Max.
That's fair, if we're being perfectly honest with ourselves.
He should be slightly more afraid of Max.
Max is the one that slit somebody's throat.
My reputation is earned.
I think I've done as much damage as I should do today.
With the situation diffused, you return to headquarters, relatively no worse for wear, because what was going to be a scary encounter with a bunch of killer ghosts got ousted by several repeated 6 rolls.
I was about to get out some special ammunition.
I wanted you to do some Annie Oakley stuff.
We resolve things peacefully the way that you do.
I have many pips in a tune, what can I say?
You get back to headquarters, and you're ready to start your next mission proper. So Benny's like, oh yeah, I stocked up the Wienerbiel with supplies for Tightwad. I have medical supplies, and I have a bunch of Oscar Mayer's premium food supplies for the folks there as well. Is there anything you all need before you depart?
When I was at the mausoleum, I wanted to do something real quick.
Sure.
If you don't mind, I was hoping to take the pouch that I wear around my neck and open it. There's a single finger bone in the pouch, and I was going to slide it onto the lip of where the body's caskets are entered into the mausoleum.
Okay.
Just let Rebecca know that I found it, and that I hope to never see her again. I leave after that.
All right. So you do that, and I will go roll study as you leave the mausoleum. Even though we're reaching back in time, you're doing this kind of a hurry because you get the impression your friend might have needed you, although it worked out fine.
While we're here, I just want to ask Benny if he can take a look at some of the hospital books while we're gone and try to get an understanding of kind of how much medicine we're going to need, and if we actually were meeting the needs of the people, or if Nathan was shortchanging them.
It's going to be hard to tell whether or not he did it, because odds are if he was shortchanging them, he was probably just watering down his product. But I'll see what I can do.
Thank you, Benny. I appreciate it.
Apparently you also need some numbers crunched. I think I heard you say something about that. I will crunch those numbers. Hey, what was the result of your study roll, Max?
I got a 4.
4, mixed results. You notice a couple of small things, but nothing. You don't get a chance to get a really good look, and your mind wasn't really on it. But you realize, as you spent about half an hour at the mausoleum, which is longer than most folks spend there, the floor is warm, and not warm like, oh, this is there's machinery moving around or here. It's warm like it feels almost like you're standing on the other side of a slab of concrete from a furnace.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what to do with that, but it feels weird that the floor of the mausoleum is warm.
Put that information in my back pocket.
Before we head out, I just want to talk to Max real quick. And Max, did you see the looks on those ghosts' faces? Or rather, lack thereof faces. Something was horribly wrong. Their color was off. I can't place it.
It looked like they got a little too close to a furnace and started melting like wax.
And why were they that sickly green color? It's...
At this point, Lizzie comes up and says, well, you can find out, and hands him the canister.
Oh, Lizzie.
I love you.
I think I'm rubbing off on you. I'm so sorry about that. I don't mean to rub off on you.
Yeah, well, let's hope I rub off on you and not knife everybody.
Oh.
Don't knife everybody.
Well, your preferred weapon is a rifle, so...
Some people are our friends.
He hasn't stabbed anybody that... Oh, no, he did stab your best friend. I did forget about that.
Yeah.
Benny leans in, is like, Max, a rifle with a knife just called a bayonet.
That's true.
What you guys got there?
Well, what we have here is a representation of a spirit bottle, if you will. It's just a mock-up. We're trying to figure out how to make one ourselves, you see.
That reminds me, Lizzie. Max, I didn't tell you this. Sterling, I didn't tell you this either. Victor Lord is a homunculus. He's basically a walking spirit bottle.
Well, I mean, he is handsome. I don't know about hunk, but...
No, homunculus. Like a golem.
Humming
He was technically dead at one point.
Technically, he may still be. We're not quite sure. Actually, I'm fairly certain he is. He's not unalive. That's kind of the best way I can describe it.
But he got better?
So he's like me.
And I act like I'm about to pull my face off.
I grew up with him. He wasn't always a homunculus.
I think he was in a little bit of an accident, train accident, and not the one we caused. I caused.
Oh.
Does he need help, or is he okay?
Well, I mean...
Also, he has a second soul inside of his body.
Oh, that's not
Forgot
good.
about that part. No, you should never do that.
I mean, it gets crowded after all.
There are just way too many things that have happened today, and I don't even know where to begin.
Speaking of, Stirling, what was the tension? The tension that I felt with you and Miss Grace earlier.
Who's Grace?
Oh. She's a terrible person, and hopefully we'll never see her again.
What did she come looking for?
She was saying things, wasn't she, Max?
She had questions about a certain dirigible that made a less than eloquent landing.
But we don't know anything about that, do we?
I still don't know what she's talking about. But I'm just saying, I sensed a little tension of a past occurrence type.
She's a cruel person.
I see.
She made that comment about all the double crossing, and honestly, most of them don't matter. The looking over our rival is fine, but the first one.
Well, if you ever need to confide in someone, my dear Stirling, I'm sure that the good doctor has an ear or two for you.
Just in my pockets alone. So, the problems we have so far, let's just check all these off. We have a homunculus with two souls who may or may not still be mad at us for throwing him off of a train. We have a spurned ex-something friend person who may or may not be investigating our involvement in a dirigible crash, and we have melted spirits who may or may not continue to terrorize the city from time to time. Does that wrap everything up in a nice little bow?
Not really, I mean...
Plus, we have to get peanut oil for the Hot Topics, and we have to take all this stuff over to Tightwad.
Yes.
Probably be able to do Tightwad and the homunculus all at once, though.
And not an X.
Keeper,
Yes.
the floor of the mausoleum being warm. Would it be okay if I investigated a little bit of something where we are currently, like reach down and touch the ground with my real hand, see if I can feel any type of temperature change?
Sure, go for it. Roll study. I'll make this one controlled and great because
Ooh.
you have absolute control of this situation.
Oh, I got a 5 and a 1.
With a 5, you touch the ground and standard ground. Your office is kind of at the, it's called the Gates District. It's at the base of the mountain. Actually, I'll give you a bonus dice, actually, because you remember something about the before times. So go ahead and roll one more dice to see if you get that 6.
Yeah, no, I got a 4.
All right, well, with a 5, I'll still give you this. You remember the before times. Mount Rainier, before it was turned into the City of Paradise, was a dormant volcano.
Oh, Lizzie,
Yeah.
how far away is Tightwad?
I don't know, Lore Keeper.
It's like halfway between here and Salvation, probably like 2.5 hours by Wienermobile.
2.5 hours by Wienermobile? At top speeds, or?
Well, there's no speed limit. It's a wasteland, so go as fast as you want.
Put a little bit of relish on it.
Oh, yes. Fill her up with Dijon.
Relish the thought. I'm sure that the Wienermobile will cut the mustard for your driving purposes.
Is our boss still there?
Oh yeah, Benny's just sitting there listening to you guys talk.
Benny, it might be prudent to have a vacation. The heat is climbing, as it were. We may or may not have done some things that might bring attention, not to mention literal heat. I'm afraid that we might have a situation of a thermodynamic situation. Mountain might go boom?
What are you talking about, Max? Why do you think that the mountain's going to erupt?
I just have a very, very bad feeling about this. You know, might just close the doors for a little bit and take a vacation.
Betty looks very seriously at you. She's like, Max, I need to tell me exactly why you think the mountain is blowing. What happened? Where did you go? What did you do?
Oh, I went to the tippy top to pay my respects to someone, and it was unusually hot. So, a moment ago, I, out of curiosity, reached down and touched the ground, and it's unseasonably warm.
The ground here is not.
Oh, well.
I think you got a wire cross. No, the ground here feels normal.
All right.
Yeah, I think you'd still draw the conclusion like, oh, hey, maybe the volcano is more active than it's supposed to be based on your, realization there. So, it's still fine.
There was a documentary I saw long ago. I believe it was Dante's Peak was the title. So it talked about mountains and the possibility of them going all explodey, and lots of lava, and there was a not-so-smart fellow who tried to walk through it, I believe. But yes, I just have a feeling something's coming. Melted ghost faces and warmth and...
What do you mean, melted ghost faces?
Back me up, good doctor.
You didn't hear the bulletin, Benny? We ran down, and we were the ones who calmed the situation down. There were hordes and hordes of spirits who were missing all of their facial features, who looked to be in pain, and when I tried to talk to one, it could only mumble back incoherently.
Okay, so you guys think that the volcano is going to erupt, and there are melted spirits.
I don't know if they're combined, but I don't know how else you'd melt a spirit.
I mean, they're incorporeal, correct? But they still interact with the physical world.
But there's something special and unique. You'd have to come up with a way to really target and hurt them. I don't know. I don't know enough about this. I need to do some research.
No, you don't. Doctor?
Yes?
I'm asking you, as a friend and colleague of several years now, do not investigate what caused those spirits to be burned. Do not investigate the mountain. I want you guys to leave this alone. This is for your own good.
I don't understand, Benny. I'm just trying to help. I mean, they've done some... Okay, Benny. Whatever you say.
I can't talk about it because it's from my time when I was an executive of Lantern Corps. It's proprietary. I cannot discuss it.
Well, I mean, Benny, between friends, you're no longer an executive of Lantern Corps. I'm pretty sure that whatever NDA they had in place is no longer binding since, they did fire you. And you could just tell a good friend what you know.
Doctor, you deal in spirit magic, do you not?
From time to time.
The contract that I'm bound by is binding at a more than a physical or legal level. You understand my... I'm saying as much as I can.
I do, and I'm more afraid for you than I was before I got here. I'm sorry, Benny.
I'm asking you all as a favor. Do not touch this.
Max?
Yes? What are you saying my name in a warning?
I wasn't warning, I was asking you as inquisitive. Max, how do you feel about not touching this?
Well, I respect our employer.
You're like a child with the coil of a hot stove. You see it glow red, and it's like, ooh, I want to touch that. And I'm asking if you're going to touch it.
Well, putting me on the spot, aren't we?
Lizzie might.
Absolutely. I mean, look at her. I rubbed off on her. She might go full tilt.
Well, there's also this. Does the burnt ghost have anything to do with our power system? Because I blew out a junction when I was helping Victor Lord at Orange Julius's place.
Why would the two even remotely be combined? I don't understand. What would...
Well, it all happened around that warehouse. Could it have something to do with it? And we did see the lights were out down there. Benny?
I think we should all probably rest before we go on our excursion.
I turn to Benny. I put my real hand on his shoulder.
If you are that concerned, we respect you more than anyone else that we know. So, rest easy, my friend.
Thank you. I don't ask this lightly. I consider you all good friends. The territory you're treading toward is very dangerous, and I don't want you to go into it full-hearted.
We'll take your word.
Snap cut to the car like 2 hours later. So this is what we're doing.
We're absolutely doing this, yes. I never said we wouldn't. I just said he could rest easily.
Keeper, do we need to do heat and a score?
We already rewarded you for the score. Just go ahead and tick up. Right now, we're going to tick up 1 heat. That could go higher after Grace finishes her investigation.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right now, the consequences of that heist are TBD.
We can deal with her.
I'm going to go ahead and say, Star Wipe and you guys are about half an hour outside of Tightwad. We will resume the adventure in the township of Tightwad next time.
Next time on Blades.
Next time on Blades. So we're definitely going after and inspecting this, right?
Once I get everybody's names figured out. Yes, after we figure out what's wrong with Victor Lord.
We might have to kill Grace.
Blades in Paradise is Paul Kinter as Master of Ceremonies, Justin Langston as Maximilian Graves, Faith Queenie Long as Lizzie Calhoun, and Mel Riley as Stirling Ackred, and myself, Jim Remus, as Dr. Winston Thoreau. Dami Widener is our editor. You can directly support this show at patreon.com/bardrocknetwork, starting at just $3 a month. You can join us on Discord, you can come play games with us. We'll even send you network swag at the end of the year. You can visit our sponsor, Evil Hat Games, and use code BARDROCK10 to buy cool games like Blades in the Dark, and let them know we sent you. You can support the podcast for free by sharing us on social media, word of mouth, or rating and subscribing on your favorite podcatcher. Lastly, you support us just by listening. Thank you for listening, dear friends. Blades in Paradise is Paul Kinter as Master of Ceremonies, Justin Langston as Maximilian Graves, Faith Queenie Long as Lizzie Calhoun, and Mel Riley as Stirling Ackred, and myself, Jim Remus, as Dr. Winston Thoreau. Dami Widener is our editor. You can directly support this show at patreon.com/bardrocknetwork, starting at just $3 a month. You can join us on Discord, you can come play games with us, we'll even send you network swag at the end of the year. You can visit our sponsor, Evil Hat Games, and use code BARDROCK10 to buy cool games like Blades in the Dark, and let them know we sent you. You can support the podcast for free by sharing us on social media, word of mouth, or rating and subscribing on your favorite podcatcher. Lastly, you support us just by listening. Thank you for listening, dear friends.